Have you ever seen an animal so cute, you just had to have it? Imagine the cutest thing in the universe. Something with giant, sparkling eyes, a fluffy, rainbow-colored coat, and a purr that sounds like tiny, tinkling bells. That was the Niblet, the pet that took the galaxy by storm. Everyone wanted one. They were tiny, cuddly, and seemed to exist only to be adored. Families on every planet, from the desert worlds of Kylo to the bustling cityscapes of Coruscant, rushed to get their own Niblet. They were the perfect companion, or so it seemed. The first signs of trouble were small. Izali dismissed, a favorite toy found shredded. Strange, deep scratches on Durasteel doors. Then, the other household pets started disappearing. A beloved fluffhound here, a prized glimmerfin there. People were heartbroken, confused. They blamed wild animals, faulty security systems, anything but their adorable little nib. How could something so sweet be capable of anything harmful? The Niblets would just stare up at their owners with those big, innocent eyes, and all suspicion would melt away. But the incidents grew more frequent, more alarming. It wasn't just pets anymore. Small droids went missing, their parts later found scattered and mangled. A delivery bot was found dismantled in an alleyway, its cargo of space fruit devoured. Panic began to set in. The media dubbed it the cute pet crisis. Scientists were baffled. They studied the Niblets, ran every test imaginable, but found nothing. The creatures were docile, friendly, and biologically simple. The galaxy was on the edge of a major decision, a mass recall and euthanasia of every Niblet. It was a tragic, but seemingly necessary, solution to protect the public. This is where Dr. Mara, a xenobiologist with a reputation for understanding the misunderstood, stepped in. She didn't believe the answer was to destroy them. She adopted a Niblet herself, naming it Pip, and observed it relentlessly. While everyone else saw a pet, Mara saw something more complex. She noticed how Pip's fur would subtly shift color based on its. She saw how its purr wasn't a sign of contentment, but a low-frequency sonar, mapping out the room. Those big, beautiful eyes weren't just for looking cute. They could see in multiple spectrums, tracking movement with terrifying precision. Mara realized the Niblet wasn't a pet. It was an apex predator in its larval stage. On its home world, it was a solitary hunter. And what humans saw as playing was actually a series of sophisticated hunting exercises. The cuddling wasn't for affection. It was to learn the weaknesses of its prey. The Niblets weren't malicious. They were just being what nature designed them to be. We had taken a tiger cub, called it a kitten, and were shocked when it started acting like a tiger. Just as the Galactic Council was about to sign the euthanasia order, Mara broadcast her findings. She showed them footage of Pip, not as a cuddly pet, but as a brilliant hunter. She demonstrated how to build habitats that satisfied the Niblet-esque instincts, complex enclosures with holographic prey and challenging puzzles. She explained that the creatures weren't evil. They were just misunderstood. We had put them in an environment that was stressful and unnatural for them, and they were simply reacting. Her plea worked. The order was stopped. Instead of a tragedy, it became a lesson. Special sanctuaries were built, designed by Mara, where the Niblets could grow and thrive. People could still visit and watch them, but from a safe distance, appreciating them for the magnificent creatures they truly were, not the cuddly toys we wanted them to be. The story of the Niblet taught the galaxy a valuable lesson, that true beauty and understanding come not from forcing something to be what we want, but from appreciating it for what it is. And Dr. Mara became a hero, not for taming a monster, but for listening to one. What do you think? Is it fair to judge a creature by its appearance? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tailies. From across the galaxy, when the borders came, Niblet stopped wagging. The Darwin's wake had never been boarded before. Humans had a reputation. Not the loud, aggressive condos were easy to counter. No, humans were known for something worse. Preparation. That reputation usually kept pirates, raiders, and salvage opportunists at a respectful distance. Usually, the first warning came as a whisper in the hull. Dr. Mara Ellison was halfway through Niblet's enrichment cycle when the lights flicked twice and the ship SAI spoke in a tone that meant someone clever had gotten past the obvious defenses. Unauthorized docking signature detected. Mara didn't move. Niblet did. The small, pastel creature lifted its head from the padded nest beside her boots, its ears flattened, its tail usually a lazy metronome of contentment. Still not tucked. Still, that was new. Mara's hand hovered near the emergency console. Darwin? She said softly. Confirm thread level. Boarding craft using adaptive hull masking, species likely non-human. Intent classified as hostile. Niblet chirped once. Low Mara swallowed. She had learned Niblet's sounds over months: the happy chirp, the curious trill, the annoyed squeak. This one wasn't any of those. This was focused. Okay, she whispered. Easy. Nibs, for the first time since arriving on the ship, it didn't look cute. Its fur rippled, not puffing up, but tightening, like muscles beneath velvet. The pupils in its oversized eyes narrowed to sharp, reflective slits. Tiny claws extended, clicking softly against the deck. Mara felt a chill. Darwin, she said. Sealed non-essential corridors. Human crew to defensive stations. Acknowledged. She hesitated, then added, and unlock Habitat 3. The AI paused for exactly half a second. Are you certain, Doctor? Niblet looked up at her, waiting. Yes, Mara said. I'm certain. The boarders came through Deck C. They were Raxion. Free Bladsiks, of them tall, multi-limbed, armored in scavenged plating. Their species favored intimidation, jagged silhouettes, glowing threat markings, weapons that hummed instead of clicked. They expected screams. They expected resistance. They did not expect the ship to go quiet. No running footsteps. No shouted orders. Just dimmed lights and the soft hum of life support. One free blade clicked its mandibles. Humans played dead. It rasped. Search. They moved forward. That's when they heard it. A chirp. High. Almost playful. The lead free blade froze. What? Is that? From the shadows at the end of the corridor, something small waddled into view. Pastel fur. Big eyes. Tiny paws. It tilted its head. The free blades relaxed instantly. One left a harsh, grating sound. Is that a pet? Another lowered its weapon. Galaxy's cutest creature. It sneered. Worth credits. Niblet chirped again. Then it stopped wagging. Mara watched from the control alcove. Heart hammering. Darwin, she whispered. Record everything. Already recording. Niblet moved faster than anything that size had a right to. It didn't charge. It appeared between one blink and the next latched onto the lead free blade's armored leg. There was a crunch. Not of metal. Of bone. The free blade screamed. Niblet released instantly, flipping backward and landing lightly on all fours. The venom didn't work immediately. That was the worst part. The free blade tried to raise its weapon and missed. Its limbs trembled, muscles spasming out of sync. Its threat markings flickered erratically. What did it do? Another, shouted. Niblet chirped. Once, and the corridor lights brightened just enough for them to see its mouth. Those teeth had not been designed for chewing. They were injectors. Shoot it! One free blade roared. They fired. The shots missed. Not because Niblet dodged, but because it moved where the free blades weren't looking. Up the wall, across the ceiling, down behind them. Assez compité, quick precisentu, an unarmored joint. Another scream, another collapse. The venom was tuned for predators. Mara realised fast actin, non-lethal if administered properly. Paralyzing if not. Niblet wasn't killing. It was disabling. hurting. The remaining free blades panicked. They fired wildly now. Discipline gone. That's when the human security team arrived. Flashbangs. Tasers. Clean. Controlled movements. By the time the smoke cleared, all 6 free blades were down, 5 restrained, 1 unconscious but alive. Niblet sat in the center of the corridor, tail wagging again. Slow. Satisfied. The aftermath was complicated. The free blades were locked in containment, still twitching as anti-venom worked through their systems. The human crew stared through the observation window. One finally asked the question everyone was thinking. Was that thing protecting us? Mara knelt beside Niblet, who was grooming a speck of blood from its paw. Yes, she said quietly. Niblet poussette, then leaned against her knee. Another crew member whispered, "It could have killed them." Mara nodded. Yes. Why didn't it? She stroked the soft fur between its ears. Because they stopped being a threat. The room went silent. The official report hit the galactic networks. Within hours, human ship defended by cute Apex phonoboarders, disabled with minimal force. The footage went viral, so did the commentary. That creature is a weapon. Humans are insane. Why does it listen to her? Mara answered. None of it. She was busy watching Niblet sleep, curled in its nest, paws twitching slightly as it dreamed. Darwin spoke softly. Doctor, you were correct. Mara smiled tiredly. About what? Niblet did not perceive the boarders as prey. She glanced at the small creature. What did it perceive them as? They, I posed, a threat to its territory. And it's human. Mara exhaled slowly. Yeah, she whispered. That tracks. From that day on, Darwin's Wake gained a new reputation, not just human vessel, but protected habitat. And in pirate circles, a new warning spread past quietly, urgently, from crew to crew. If you board a human ship and see something small and cute, back away. Slowly. If it stops wagging, run. Because the galaxy had finally learned the truth. Humans didn't tame monsters. They recognized them, and when the monsters chose to stand beside humanity, the smart ones never tested how far that loyalty went.